Hi guys, this is Ranjit, and in this video I'm going to talk about my Nexon EV MAX. And some of you might have known that I've owned this vehicle now for slightly over 8 months, but I just didn't want to post the video initially with just about 10, 15 or 20 days of usage because I really wanted to use this electric vehicle, and this is actually my first EV, so I really wanted to use it and know it ins and out before posting a video. Now it's slightly over 8 months since I've purchased this one, and I've completed over 10,000 kilometers, so I feel I know a lot about this EV now, so we'll be sharing that in this video. In fact, now this EV has become my primary car, and if you guys know, I'm hardly driving my BMW and I prefer this more. So let's get on with this video, and I'm going to talk about the good things that I liked about this and some of the improvements that can be implemented on this car. So guys, this is actually the Nexon EV MAX, and the MAX is, I would say, the souped up version. This actually has a bigger capacity battery. That's a 40.5 kilowatt hour. I'll talk about the range and all those things in the later part of the video. And think of this MAX as the souped up version. This has all the bells and features. I have the top end version, so this has even ventilated seats. Auto hold is one feature that I really like. That was also in my BMW, and all the creature comforts that you can, even air purifier and stuff. So this is actually fully loaded, so all the bells and whistles that you expect on a modern car are there with this MAX version. Okay, let's start with the drive feel of this car, and this is one thing that actually impressed me the most on this car. The power delivery and the torque on this car is amazing. We are on the ORR and you're doing 80 and you hardly feel it, and the power delivery is so smooth. It put a smile on your face, and even overtaking is such an easy thing on this car. You just press the accelerator, it just zaps and zooms in, and the pickup is actually way better than many of the ICE cars that cost even slightly more than this one. That way, I would say, in terms of drivable ability and the power delivery that this car has, the pickup and torque, this will actually impress you, and actually driving it puts a smile on your face. In fact, as you guys know, I own a BMW, and we also have Mercs, etc. in our family, and I have to say the drive feel that we get with this car is sort of similar to some of the German cars. It's that good. In fact, during the last couple of months, some of my cousins and even some of my friends that have German car have test ridden this one, and the first thing that they said is that, oh my god, we can't believe how good this drives. So that is one thing that impressed me the most. And again, you don't have to worry about the pickup. The pickup is almost just instant, even in the regular city mode. Right now, I just press the accelerator, I'm on the highway, and suddenly I was doing 70 and I'm doing now 100. I generally ride this on about 90 to 100 speed, and if you notice how stable the car is even at the speeds of 100 kmph. So even driving onto the highway, in fact, I use this route, this ORR, almost every other day, and I drive about 95 to 100 kmph. Very stable. So in terms of high speed stability also, there is no issue with this car. Now moving to suspension, the suspension on this Nexon EV MAX is very good. If you notice, this road is like completely broken, and the car is just moving up and down. The road is really bad in this area, but because of the ground clearance and the suspension on this Nexon EV MAX, it handles all these broken roads also like this without any issues. In fact, this is a patch of road near my new house that's not done, so I have to go over this every day, and it handles all these bad roads. If you see big ditches like this and like uneven roads without any issues. So that way, I would say, in terms of ground clearance and also the suspension is done very well. In fact, I would say Tata really knows how to do suspension for our broken Indian roads. I would say in terms of suspension also on higher speeds, the stability of the car is very good. The body roll, I was worried a lot about the body roll. The body roll is very well controlled. So that way, in terms of the suspension setup on this car, I would rate it as high as 9 on 10. the braking performance of this car is actually very, very good. I have driven a lot of other Indian cars also that are around the 20 lakh price point, but I have to say the braking performance on this EV Max is actually very, very good. And that's thanks to that all the four wheels are actually having disc brakes. What I've noticed is that in many of the cars, the front two wheels just have the disc brake, whereas the rear two actually have the drum brakes, whose performance is not good. I'm glad that Tata on this EV Max have given actually all the four brakes are actually disc brakes. That's why the braking performance is also very good, and it actually gives you that confidence in braking generally that we get with German cars. So guys, talking about the range, how you drive an electric vehicle, that determines the range. And initially when I got this vehicle for a month or so, I was just getting average range, but now I'm used to how to drive this car. In fact, let me actually show you. We also have the region levels on this. Actually on this Max, you directly have this button. And if you notice that level button over here we have, it changes. So that changes the region from 1 to 3. So 3 is the most aggressive, and in fact if you keep it on 3 or 2, you hardly actually have to use the brakes. The range that I'm getting on this car, anywhere from 275 kilometers to about 300 kilometers with normal driving, I would say. That is, I always drive it in the city mode. I don't drive it in the eco mode. We also actually have a eco mode and stuff like this, so supposed to increase the range. And in fact this becomes actually green, and we also have the sports mode. I just drive in the regular mode. This, the blue is denoting the regular city mode. And here I'm getting a range, as I've told you, 275 to about 300 kilometers. But again, I noticed that if you drive it sensibly, don't go very fast, above 80, 85, you can actually get a way better range, about 320, 330 also. For example, let me just show you now. This is the range that I'm actually getting. I had charged it fully to 100%, and we are still having 32% battery life left, and we have driven about 217 kilometers, as you can see. And it's telling me again, we still have about 100 kilometers of range. So yes, you can extract up to 320 kilometers also, but realistically I would say expect about 280 to about 300 kilometers in terms of range. What happens to this car, let's say in monsoon season? For example, last month in Hyderabad we had too much rain, and some of the roads were actually filled with water, almost 1 feet of water and stuff like that. Can you take this car in stuff like that? And the answer is yes. I've personally done that about 2 odd times, and because this is IP67 rated, completely water resistant, you can easily wade from water. And I have done it actually twice, and everybody, most of the people were simply not going on that road because of the road, that water was filled on that road, but I easily went on with this car. So that way also, if water is filled, this is actually a lot more safer and better than regular ice cars in that situation. As I've already told you, you actually can set the region mode on this car, and because of that you actually hardly use the brakes on this car. If you keep it on region level 2 or 3, the moment you actually remove your foot from the accelerator, actually it starts slowing down. So think of this as engine braking, so your brakes are hardly used. So that's why when it went to servicing, I was asking the service guys, do we have to replace the brake pads? And they don't know, because most of the people will use region for braking. The brake pads will last 50 to 60,000 kilometers easily or more on this car. And in fact, I actually use the region braking right now. See, if I just leave the accelerator, the car is going to slowly slow down, because I've kept it on 2. If I keep it on 3, it's a little bit more aggressive, and I'm not used to driving it with the region. And in fact, as I've told you, once you get the hang of using this region, your range will also increase quite a bit. Regarding charging the car, I actually mostly charge it in my house or my apartment, and I have never actually used the commercial DC fast chargers till now in the past 10,000 odd kilometers. I never had the need to do that. In fact, the regular charger that you get with the car is that 3.3 kilowatt portable charger, as you can see, and I mostly use this in my apartment when I'm charging. But I've also installed this optional 7.2 kilowatt charger, and with this 7.2 kilowatt charger, if the car is around 15 to 20%, it charges just within 5 odd hours. Whereas with the portable charger, it takes longer. It takes about 12 to 13 hours if the battery is from 15 to 20%. How much do I spend on charging this car? And approximately, as I've told you, I actually charge it mostly in my house, and the rate of electricity is just around 8 rupees, 8.25 per unit. So roughly the cost per kilometer, if I talk about, works out to be about 1 rupee to about 1.21. Again, if your electricity rate is lower, it will be slightly lower. So approximately you could say about 1 rupee to 1.1 rupee per kilometer is the running cost of this car. And I'm charging it about 4 to about 5 times in a month. And some of you have asked me again on Twitter also, does this car actually lose charge if it's just parked? And the answer is no, because I was about 2 months ago, I went to South Korea. I was out for about 7 days. And when I came back, this car was just parked. It didn't lose even 1% of the charge. So that idle drain or something, what we have with smartphones, that's no longer the case with this car. So you don't have to worry about it. And now let me talk about, I have actually made some pointers. What are the benefits that I've noticed about having an EV, and then we'll talk about some of the shortcomings that I've noticed with this car. The first thing is the freedom from the recurring petrol expenses, and this can be at a significant cost. Anywhere, if you drive about 1,000 kilometers or something, it can be about, what do you say, over 10,000 to 12,000 rupees per month saving that you can do. Second thing is, I don't have to go to the fuel pump, and whenever I leave the house, the car is fully charged. It's like running on full tank all the time. So that convenience is there. Also, the superior driving feel. It's super silent because they're not moving parts or anything. So the drive feel is surreal. As I've told you, it is like a very premium German car. Next thing is the amazing pickup that you get on this car because of the instant torque. You have to actually test drive to believe it. You'll be amazed with the pickup of this car. And lastly is that there is no exhaust on this one. So no tailpipe pollution. And actually I have a solar plant on my house. So actually I'm charging this car with solar power, that is green energy, and I'm very proud of that. Now let's move to some of the shortcomings that I've noticed with this car. And the first thing is that I've noticed that this A-pillar is actually quite wide, and it can obstruct a few things, and I got used to it, but the first 20 days you have to be a little bit careful about the A-pillar. Moving to the fancy drive selector, it looks very fancy, but I feel there is quarter-second delay when you move between the drive modes. I feel a regular drive shaft like we have in the regular cars would have been more practical, in my frank opinion. And lastly, this is an electric car. We do not have any mobile charger for the rear seats. I just don't get it why. And lastly, I would say the Tata service can be improved a little bit. Right now, for servicing these EVs, it is going to the regular Tata service centers. I feel it's high time Tata has dedicated EV service centers. That would be a lot better. So these are some of the shortcomings that I've noticed with this car. Apart from that, overall, I'm happy with this car. Now, let me give you a summary. So overall, guys, if I have to summarize, I'm very happy with this car. Even after driving it for about 10,000 kilometers, if you would ask me, would I buy this car again? And the answer is yes, it's that good. In fact, this car has exceeded my expectations. I would be very frank to say that. And I would say if your day, monthly run is 900 or 1,000 kilometers or more, still a EV makes a lot of sense. As I've told you, in the past 8 months, I have saved over a lakh in petrol fuel costs. So in fact, if your run is over 1,000 kilometers a month or more, you will, yes, the EVs have a slight premium as of now, but you'll recover the cost in about 2 or 2.5 years, and the running costs are actually very low on this one. So that way I would say and also it's very difficult for me to explain the drive feel what you get with this car. As I've told you, I'm used to premium cars. I own a BMW. The drive feel of this car is very premium, and the only way you can judge that is that go do a test ride. And I would frankly say that if your budget is about 15 to 20 lakhs, go to a Tata showroom and do a test ride of this car and experience it for yourself. You will be actually surprised. So it's a thumbs up, I would say, overall with me. And again, everything is not rosy, some of the cons that I have mentioned, but again, that's with every product. But overall, I would say I'm very happy with this Nexon EV Max. And guys, if you still have any specific questions, do post them in the comment section below. I'll try to post different mini videos about specific topics on this car on my other channel, that is Geekyranjit Rides and Vlogs. Anyways guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care guys.